welcome back to my lovely HP community and the 5D Collective. To all of those who are here for this lovely 1212 portal, 5D Ascension Energies. For the ones of you who have a whole self, you have self-love, you have unconditional love, so you have bilateral and vertical integration, as we were discussing in our previous episodes. You have the capacity to be self-aware, accountable, and regulate, which is why emotional depth, mental clarity, and self-perception are within our 5D frequency. So on this 3 portal, 1212, what we have is a complete harmonization of the inner and outer world of you with your feminine, masculine, and the child parts, and your grown-up higher self. Okay, that's how I'm going to bring it to you. And that's where that lovely agape or agape and the mirror. So unconditional love, a deep swell of gratitude alongside self-perception with that self-love that anchors in the truth, because it is clear of pain. So your pain is no longer your aletheia, is truth, stone, anchoring in, and love. Okay, so you accept all and you reject none. And the capacity to be a living soul of the world in all of its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces, whether you're a 5D mystic or a 5D mindfully living person. Just give me a minute. I'll get to the human stuff in a minute. You again, accept all that is and reject none. So we can bring in determined with Robert Sapolsky. The vessel is still and will be a human body that unconditional love, which is pure consciousness, will be in. So it's once you have retrieved that soul, which happens when you are in a mind, body, heart alignment. And so you do stand in awe and gratitude and wander. Again, whether with God, Holy Spirit, Jesus, or if you use Source, Universe, Akash, dark matter, dark energy, sciences, where you have a personality and you have an attachment, and that would be the category of secure. You have a whole self, okay? So with determined, we can say you own that embodied brain, and that's why you own your feminine. So you have the jaguar, and you're able to give courage in times of uncertainty because you know self-regulation. So you know how to love yourself first and also love another. That's why you are an ideal partner for yourself and for others. And the shake, rattle, and roll is in the standing and walking with non-reactivity. So again, as we discussed, the mirror of self-perception is that you are imperfect and flawed, and so are others. You are choosing lightening in a way of non-reactivity, because differentiation of self, the circle of life, is something you know. You know how to be in a state of safety even when you're in the presence of those who do not have the wisdom of bilateral integration. And they think that they're cursed or you're cursed or somebody's cursed, and those are the same people who mistrust kind human beings because their nervous system is not comfortable with the state of the social engagement system. So their nervous system will reject and be repulsed, and or more, they will react to your ability to be in a ventral vagal state. And that's where it's very clear when it happens. So Pachankus goes, okay, so that's not something that lovers need to be concerned about, because the 5D collective is not in that type of fire. Those people who do the low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive aggressive, so Pinocchio on the island, Pinocchio with Stromboli, people with the visceral, they continue to have what is really unhealthy relationships together while thinking that wild woman means the visceral stuff. We know what wild woman means, and it's the seer, and that's the people who have, again, integration bilateral and vertical. And so our ability to mindfully live and spiritually is because we tap into, some of us, as the embodied feminine I am, I'm channeling, downloading, and sharing food for thought on this lovely 1212 portal, but we consistently rise and expand. You have light body, rainbow body expansion. Your spirituality awakening begins when you have a whole self, because that's when you will have returned to who you truly were meant to be, with the connection of the heart and body, your divine feminine and your divine masculine mind, because you don't have a masculine that speaks bullshit and a feminine that gets upset and overwhelmed and wants to have payback. And that is why distorted feminines get together with masculines who do not become their empowered, embodied feminines. So everyone has a feminine and masculine. And while the rabbi gives the feminine job to the woman and the masculine to the man, we don't have that alone anymore. And I'm going to explain. So for me, I come for the 5D Collective. The 5D Collective, we like to own and embody, and we will, our masculine and feminine. And that's how we're going to begin, because you take ownership of that which is rising above the fray, because you love to learn and laugh and live and expand, and you don't cast stones. So your initiation and your crossings are not ones that you look at and say, I have gotten the short end of the stick because I'm a person who has clairs and I'm so... No, none of that. Okay, so the ones who do that, that's why they're out there doing at the fourth wave is what they're at. We do simply that. For mystics, we have the honor of being able to be channelers and downloaders, Reiki masters, Akashic record readers, and for the masculines that are mystic, they get to accompany us as well. And that's with the honor again of knowing that the truth anchors in thanks to love, because of the mirror of self-perception with agape, unconditional love, and a deep well of gratitude, awe, and wonder at our breath being taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return, which is what your restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating 0-1-year-old is getting if you are in a space that is consistently putting into practice being your safe haven, secure base, humanly speaking. Spiritually speaking means that you have full relationship, as I have been, involved in my relationship with Jesus, Holy Spirit, and God. And again, it expanded, and we bring it together, although we know not everybody does, but we bring together the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted and multidimensional layers. And again, bonded together by the loving cosmic forces, the heart of the sky, dark matter, dark energy, Akash, Holy Spirit, God, all that is, and we accept all and we reject none, and we don't use Lucifer's name in the way that the 4D do. Nobody is a Luciferian anything or era, maladaptive patterns of behavior, fucking, drinking, and drugging, and any of that which involves also the men and women who do not support therapy, because they're also part of a group of people that don't understand what they're supporting, which is repression of emotion and not actively allowing somebody to get securely internally attached. So while they spread ignorance and they continue, though, using their fancy mannerisms, we get to share that we're okay with melting pots because our brain works on two sides, and then our hearts do too, and that we know catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, save it for a rainy day. For love may come and tap you on the shoulder on some starless night. And just in case you feel you want to hold her, him, or they, maybe have a chit chat, or maybe have a dance, you'll have a pocket full of starlight. But there's another verse that I wanted to read you. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. And then never let it, save it for a rainy day, okay? Let's just get to the gist of it. So my lovely listeners who have been viewing this are like, okay, get to it already, Maria, get to it. For when your troubles starting multiplying, and they just might, it's easy to forget them without trying, with just a pocket full of starlight. So catch a falling star and put it in your pocket and save it for a rainy day and never let it fade away. And that is where, like I was saying, grace, if you call it grace, if you call it Holy Spirit, if you call it your social engagement system, it's an ease, which is why that Zen master doesn't know this state. The Enlightenment soul age group is where you will own that whole self the way it can bring it to you. But it's a journey that you choose, and when you accept all and reject none, you also don't cast a stone. Okay, so that's why agape, or however you pronounce it, is unconditional love. And the mirror self perception is only going to be a mirror when you own the vessel that is you, and not with a threat or life threatening response. When you're with people that are Cuscos or anything that basically don't know how to be Pachas, with those people you put into practice I'm a differentiated self. So you don't seek to have a feminine outside of you or a masculine. And a masculine doesn't seek to have a feminine outside. And so today we are in a beautiful era because we are learning, as I've been sharing, what it means to be yourself, the functional adult inner child adult way. And so for our, again, 5D Ascension Energies, you all continue, my regular community, from the podcast listeners to those of you who have been coming back. I'm going to say, if you're resonating, you're continuing to expand and to understand who you are, who you want to be with, and actually what a true relationship is. And the true relationship is where you have welcomed, first of all, yourself, knowing that someone will reject all of who you are, even insult you, even completely believe in the insult that they will cast, which is where I make fun of a bunch of people. You all know this. I don't cast stones on their characterological character. I can actively understand, humanly speaking, the lack of effort. They didn't go to therapy. They continue to live their 0 to 8-year-old. In fact, the words they choose, vermin, monsters, makes me think that that was used upon your own self, because there's never one day that I would ever think of using those words for poor little children who are subject to their parents. And that is how an inner child will feel. I'm subject to you, the grown-up, not the other way around. And so any of good therapy information will make me, as an inner child adult who luckily got an inner child-centric environment, yeah, I'm going to stand with Patrick Tiahan, and I will stand with him even with the don't forgive. I'm about forgiving, but I'll stand with him versus stand with some human being who locks a child who's angry in a room, leaves them to pent up, and thinks that that's responsible, versus not understanding you just didn't teach the mammal how to self-regulate. You didn't teach them how to handle anger with a healthy outlet. You suppressed it, you asshole. And guess what suppression makes into? Rumination, drinking, fucking drugging, suppression some more, and then let's go hang out with some more idiots, shall we? And there's Pinocchio on the island. So what I have to offer you today is, I know that nobody is Lucifer. No, they're just dumbass idiots who don't actively understand the new information that's been provided because they don't want to. Because they think that their parenting styles and or ways of doing things are correct, versus actually taking a minute to explore your non-bilaterally integrated brain, which, by the way, though, Dr. Daniel Siegel makes it very clear how somebody who's non-bilaterally integrated will reject automatically anything for depth of emotion. And that is the part, because it scares the fuck out of that little 3-year-old and 1-year-old and makes the 16-year-old pissed as hell. And also, though, because the 16-year-old is spiting the very same household, so the fight response in the unconscious spites the very same place where they didn't get that, which is why it's not even hilarious. I mean, honestly, when I think of this, I'm like, wow, do you realize how dumb ego is? And I just keep seeing over and over and over again, and that's not, I won't even call it self-sabotage. I'm going to call it a self that in the year 2024 refuses to hear good therapy information. So when you meet people who don't want to take their own self up to the next level, this is not your choice for them. And all the years 2007 I began with Ascension Energies. 4D is still the same place they were yesterday. So for the 5D Collective is where I've been trying to make you understand who the 5D Collective is, because I'm here for that collective when I'm channeling and when I'm sharing with you messages. It's a collective that enjoys living life, and that when we have thoughts and emotions, we're not pissy about it, and we're not pent up, and we're not thinking that somebody got a bigger end of the stick or shorter end of the stick. When you think about your oversoul, that sounds so petty. It's like when people, I asked help for venting, and they said, you can't do that, you're human. And I'm like, yeah, I can, because I'm human. You're not Jesus, you're not Buddha. I was like, I didn't know Jesus or Buddha were part of the equation. You don't have to help me. Like, I'm just thinking, what that doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you something good for me and you're not supporting it. So love is very easy for those of us who know love, because we know of that, again, inner child that stays safe, secure, and loved, soothed, and also seen. Because I got taught by my mother that it's okay to be a crybaby, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be all of the emotions. And she also repeated herself and calmly taught me things. The only emotion, see, that's why determined matters. The only emotion that I got a little pushback, but that's because she had to. That's how I'm explaining it. This is my interpretation. See, right here, we interpret things from our own subjective experience. Okay, so my own subjective experience is that from here, I know why, because I also know the level of fear I have. It's anything and everything that I don't know about. I'm better now, but I'm still a person who will ensure my environment is exactly the way I want it. Anybody who knows me will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm okay with it. And in fact, I'm motivated by physical safety. So much so, just another example, in my hypnotherapy session, if somebody wants to just do science, they could say it's nothing. I obviously believe in God, so I'm a mystic as I'm channeling. So for me, the message is directly from God. As he's sharing with me, I'm physically safe. But I can bring in both sides of the same coin without dismantling that which I feel more strongly, believe more strongly. But I also know that the scientists can use their way of analyzing, because I learned all about it, that I had an emotional release. I welcomed the part back. I welcomed the fear, so this is the part of why when you want to help in general, it's always going to bring science and spirituality concepts together, because they don't cancel each other for brains that are smart, which is where our 5D collective is. The 4D, they're Luciferian, they're assholes, or science doesn't know shit, spiritual doesn't know. So whenever you see that, it's just a bunch of people who let them join their Elsa journey groups. So love and life and masculine and feminine, they come together as one for the 5D collective. And on this portal, I'm going to say that you're doing, I feel good. I knew that I would. I'm going to say you're feeling good, you're feeling clear-minded, and you definitely know who life partner, lover, if that's something that is your objective, is. And that's also where you also know where you're headed career-wise. All of things have been set in motion with a level of emotional depth, mental clarity, because of the finally good self-perception, self-esteem, visibility, no more of that insecurity, but also lack of awareness what life is, that we have 2 hands, 2 feet. So it's every day we wake up, and I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance, and he loves to live, and he loves to love, and he loves to learn, and he loves to expand and not cast stones. So you make the best of every day. And as you do that with your nervous system and your prefrontal, you're going to see that it continues to expand. That's why mindfulness, mindset, and mindful practices all help, because you're attuning and self-soothing in a healthy way, and then you're regulating in your social engagement, and you're continuing to do it when whatever the emotions come up, but from the depths of you, not from the pretend of you. So we'll be back with more, and like, share, and subscribe. Tomorrow's Friday, so we will be having one of our channeled guidance messages for Spotify and iHeartRadio, the audio podcast version. On Spotify, you'll have video probably, because I'll be doing video, but not on YouTube. I'll share on YouTube once I have published it. So in the meantime, thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful 12/12 portal.